Hey guys, what's going on? So, 19.0. I have been meaning to talk about this since April 12th, 2023, when they posted this. And I wanted to, I honestly just wanted to wait for Bruiser. And so they just dropped Bruiser talents, and I feel like talking about all of this now. Because I wanted to talk about it when they first dropped the, not the clan mechanics changes, but the balance changes. I wanted to talk about it. I was gonna make a balance change video, and then I was like, you know what? It's fine. I'm just gonna wait until they announce Bruiser talents, and they announced Bruiser talents, and my God, but we'll get to it. Okay, so clan mechanics changes. A lot of this, I think, are really good quality of life things. The stages of the tournament will be reduced to 4 days. And it'll start on Wednesday and on Saturday. That doesn't matter to me. I think it's good that it's only 4 days. If you are in a good enough clan, you should be actively trying to beat the tournament, and it'll never take you more than 4 days. Nobody can beat it in 1 day because it's just numerically impossible. By the second day, most clans are already finishing. So the fact that it was like a 5 day, 6 day, event, you were just spending way too much time doing nothing. Even if you're in a tournament where people are kind of lagging, by the third day, like morning of the third day, like as soon as it becomes like 12 o'clock in that time zone, or 12:01 in that time zone, most clans are already finishing. So like by the third day, that's pretty much it. And if you're still fighting on the fourth day, you're probably in last place. So the fact that it was even more than 4 days is beyond me. So reducing it to 4, knowing that most clans finish it in 3, is really good, because then you're not constantly waiting. Along with this, point multipliers, depending on the rating in the current day of the tournament, will increase. That doesn't necessarily matter. It will have that increase anyway. The clan store will be available from the Arena 5, regardless of the tournament stage and clan progress. That's good as well. Having it automatically just be there. I don't think that's that big of a deal. The number of daily plunders will be increased to 2, and the maximum number of points received from plunders will increase to 35%. A little while ago, I did a meme. If you followed the Discord, I did a meme that got a lot of traction. I'm proud of the traction that I got. And it was this one. We should change plunder. 2 plunders, more defenders. And I put defense doesn't matter with maxed out cards and heroes. Because it doesn't. A lot of people are making a lot of noise about the fact that they're adding defenders. We'll get to that. But it doesn't matter, because plunder plunder in its current state, trying to kill or attack a player. If you have Max Blade Dancer, if you have Max Inquisitor, you are beating every single plunder you ever go into, and it's not even a challenge. It's not even kind of a challenge. It's just free wins. Changing it to 2, I think they're going to realize, because I don't know if you remember, but when they first announced plunder a long time ago, you could plunder five battles in a row. And I did that all the time, every single tournament. It was the best. And I was just straight winning 5 times in a row. And it was great. And then they were like, you can only plunder once a day. And now they're changing it to 2, which I absolutely love, because that's just free wins. The plunder is always the same. Whereas when you have to play an opponent who is always playing a different deck, you have the potential to lose. You have a big potential to lose. When you are fighting defenders that do not get more powerful, and even with the addition of new bosses, which doesn't matter, because Inquisitor and Blade Dancer do not care about effects. They can already beat triple bosses. 2 bosses is not going to be a deal. Like you will still win every single game you ever play if you're playing Light Inquisitor or Blade Dancer, and probably Cultist at this point. And as the heroes get better and better and better, and you start being able to max out more and more things, just adding bosses is not going to do anything to the idea of plundering. You will win every single one of those matches. So them adding 2 plunders per day, that's just 2 free wins for me. So I love it. The initial amount of mana in daily battles will increase to 250. That's something that you won't even notice. It's good, but you won't even notice it. The use of spells will be available from the first wave. That could get kind of broken, especially if somebody's running Dark Inquisitor and they automatically stone you in the first round and you just die. That could be pretty funny. But I don't think the use of spells available in the first wave will be that detrimental. If you die to a spell in the first round, you're probably going to die anyway. Defenders. 2 epic rarity defenders will be added, Monkey King and King Pudding. The number of defenders you can deploy, again, in Plunder, where it doesn't even matter, will increase to 7 because 2 of them will come out at the same time in a special wave. Yay! It will be possible to edit and test the defender squad formation outside the tournament. For convenience, we will put access to the defenders in a separate section. Yay! Right? On Saturday and Sunday, it will now be possible to send a request for epic units in addition to rare and common ones. I'm assuming because rare units, you can only send 1. I'm assuming that for epics, it'll be the same thing, like you can only send 1, which I absolutely love because I can get rid of all these epic units that I've maxed out. Yay! I guess, like, you know, you can now request Portal Keepers, and Reapers, and Portal Mages. You can get all those Portal Mages from everybody. I guess it's okay. I mean, it seems like I'm so much in the late game of this game that for new players, that's a good quality of life, right? Royal Trials started. Balance changes. There are a couple of interesting things that they did with balance changes. One of them is Cultist, 335 to 295 initial damage, which means it'll be a little bit weaker early on. And I think that's good because any nerf to Cultist is good because Cultist is insane right now. I mean, Cultist is on a level that is of Inquisitor and Blade Dancer and all of those, and it is wrecking. And especially if you are susceptible to shamans, it has the shaman talent. So some Cultist decks are running shaman and the shaman talent, and that's pretty gross. But it's pretty good. Cultist is pretty good. Invest heavily into Cultist. It's really good. I don't play Minotaur enough, so like every time they ever talk about Minotaur, I don't know. The minimum damage for Earthquake goes from 180 to 130. Maximum damage decrease from 420 to 290. It's apparently good. And the win rate is as high as 70%. I played a battle against Miyoki. You can go back into my videos and look up my battle against Miyoki. He ran Minotaur in that super toxic Frost Minotaur like witch deck. It's a good card. I'm not going to deny that it's not a good card, and so nerfing it is fine. Tesla. Megawatt no longer deals a percent damage to enemies when gaining a charge. A charged Tesla now has a 15% chance to hit the first target twice. Overloaded Tesla has a 30% chance instead. I don't play Tesla enough in order to know what this is. Compared to other level 15 units, and with the last talent, the Tesla is noticeably inferior. In late waves, the unit rarely gets charges, and after the wave balance changes, it begins to suffer more from bosses and Bannerlords. With this change, we're increasing the effectiveness of the final talent, especially against high health targets. I guess that totally makes sense. Like, if it's no longer getting charges, and there's no reason for you to try for it to get charges, making it better as a static regular unit that has the ability to just sit there is much better. Robots. I like these changes because they understood that robot is just terrible. Even at max, it's not as good as a lot of other things. Tough tuning damage increase per part is now higher at 2.5 to 3. That stacks pretty fastly. And so as you keep merging, getting 3% as opposed to 2.5%. Obviously, with two, you'll have, with two merges, you'll be at 5%, but now you'll be at 6%. And that 1% difference might not sound like a lot, but over the course of maybe 10, 20 more merges, that adds up pretty quickly. So that's good. Arms race, robots damage increase is now higher at 25% to 32.5%. Again, it's the same amount of like percent damage, which is good. Anything high, anything that's reasonably, any kind of increase is good. Laser now deals more damage against normal monsters, 400 to 500%, and it deals more damage against bosses and mini bosses, 800 to 1,000. It's interesting to see like these. They're just making it better, but I don't know if it's going to be able to deal with Inquisitor or Blade Dancer, or Spirit. Definitely not Spirit Master. Because you have to keep merging in order for it to get better, as opposed to like Blade Dancer, where you just have to move the thing. You can keep it on the field and move the thing. Or Blade Dancer in its Floral Frenzy version, where you just have to sit there and do nothing. Or Inquisitor, where you just have to sit there and do nothing. The problem with always having to merge is, one, you need to have two like level 1 robots, because you don't want to merge your higher things. And then two, you have to keep summoning in. And at some point, in the case of like a Meteor deck and a Robot deck and a Demon Hunter deck, your summon in cost will become so high that you won't be able to keep merging. You won't be able to keep summoning in and merging to make it better and better as the game progresses. And the amount that you will be able to do it decreases at such a high rate that I don't know if just this percent boost is enough to keep it going late game. I think it's better, obviously, but I don't know. Banshee was really funny because I don't see anybody playing Banshee, but apparently at really low levels, it's really good. So it's actually a nerf. They're nerfing Banshee, which I think is hilarious because I haven't even played against Banshee. I'm just gonna completely bypass it. Most people don't even have a Banshee, let alone like a level 15 max Banshee. I get that some people do, because of course some people do. But in my own like playtesting of this game, I don't know enough about it. I don't even have it. I have it on my free to play account, I believe. But I think my main account doesn't even have it yet. And so I have no argument about Banshee, or I have no thoughts on any of this. Which Magic Circle. Merging a unit in a circle now grants 100 mana and 20% of the summon cost. Nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares about that. They're trying to make the circle that's not the curse circle better, and no amount of making it better is going to be good. Other than if you have if they gave you like the auto percent chance to kill, if they made it like a Necromancer circle, and if you think that's kind of ridiculous, the attack version of the Witch side is there's one where she gets a percent chance to instant kill. So if they change the circle that you get to an insta-kill circle and made it kind of like a Necromancer circle, that's the only reason we're having a conversation. No other kind of circle is better. The curse circle is just better because at the very least you could you give them a square that they can't use, and at very most you're ruining one of their squares. Like if they have attack squares or if they have speed squares and your curse circle goes on that, they're not putting it on that square. There's no reason to not use Curse Circle. This is something that blew my mind, and I did another meme. I'd like to show you my meme that I created that I was really proud of. So they did a chart, and the clock has literally the worst win rate, and so they're buffing it, right? No, they're not. Clock of power when merging. The number of units whose speed is increased or decreased depends on the clock's merge rank. 2 units per merge rank. So if you merge 2 level 1 clocks, 2 random units will be decreased or increased in co-op. And if it's 4 units that are random will be decreased. That is the biggest nerf that clock has ever had, and clock has already been nerfed. Nobody is ever going to use clock ever again, even in co-op. It's probably just not worth it. They just nerfed clock into the ground. And it's crazy to me. I hope they realize how much nobody is going to play clock, and I hope in the next patch they rebuff it again, because doing that is insanity. Like, oh, I'm going to merge my 2 level 1 clocks. Oh, the knight statue and the scrapper, that they have a higher attack speed. Yay. Oh, I'm going to merge 2 level 2 clocks. The knight statue and the scrapper and the dryad and 1 blade dancer is now has a higher attack speed. Yay. Like, it's so bad. Never use clock again. Frost King now spawns with a 10-second delay rather than immediately after disappearing from the table. I don't have enough play with Frost to have any opinions on this. Falling Star for Meteor can now send an additional meteor even when fusing without an orb of flame. Overheat. Orb transfer chance is now lower. The big one on Meteor that everybody's talking about, as they should, Apocalypse, the max talent on a Meteor, no longer straight destroys a unit, but it reduces it by 3 if it hits the unit. So, and I say if it hits the unit, because you could, if you were getting Apocalypsed, you could use Portal Keeper. Portal Keeper is the best card in this freaking game. You could use Portal Keeper and nothing would happen. But the strength of Meteor, almost the entire reason to use Max Meteor was the Apocalypse talent. And all they had to do was manipulate the percentage chance. What is the percentage chance now? Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Here we go. It is a 10% chance of, It is a 10% chance of additionally causing a meteorite to destroy a random enemy unit. All they had to do was change that to 5%. That's it. And they decided to super nerf it. As opposed to it destroying, because it's useful. And it doesn't work in every situation. For instance, it doesn't work in any Portal Keeper situation. And it completely destroying a unit was the best thing for it. Shaman is slow. If they have a level 7 Inquisitor, right? And you manage to hit the Inquisitor, you have to summon in 2 units in order to get rid of 1 thing, right? Or 1 merge rank. So, oh no, now it's 6. It's okay, I'm gonna summon in 2 more things. Hopefully they're shamans. Merge those 2 things. Hopefully it hits the same Inquisitor. Oh, now it's a number 5. Now it's a 5. It's still good. And that's assuming that you don't hit Scrappers in that deck, Dryads in that deck, Trappers in that deck, enchant swords in that deck. That's assuming you don't hit Knight Statue in that deck. Like, you have the chance to hit so many other things within that deck that lowering it one rank with shamans, it's not even that great. It doesn't even do enough. Apocalypse with Meteor, straight up nuking an entire unit no matter what rank it was, is the only thing that made it good. And so making it to where if they have like a level 7, it's now what? A level 4? A level 4 Inquisitor could still beat you. And at worst, it's gonna like what? Kill a Scrapper? Kill an enchant sword? Oh no. So I don't know why they decided to go so hard on nerfing Meteor, where when Meteor is like, all they had to do was just change the percent. If they changed it to 5%, I think it would still be fine. But they decided to do that, so here we go. They're thinking about doing other things, and none of this makes sense. The Monk, the unit has a very high win rate at max level, but behaves normally at lower levels. So let's make it better at minimum. Enchant Sword, currently the most popular support unit along with Dryad. We are also discussing various improvements to this unit, both in terms of usability and its popularity. They're saying that it's the best support unit next to Dryad, and they're like, let's make it better. What are these decisions? I don't understand what these decisions are. So then they made a graph, right? And the win rate to the pick rate, right? The win rate of a clock is all the way down here. I mean, it's not in the negatives, but it's like 0. It has a terrible win rate, right? I don't know where they're getting their data that Boreas, Boreas is like all the way back. I don't know. I also don't understand like how Banshee is all the way up here as a win rate. And I don't understand how Inquisitor is this low. Like what? Clock is just a little bit better than Inquisitor? Is that what they're trying to... I don't know why they posted this graph. But yeah, like that's all the changes in talents. Something that I was very excited for. They're deciding to change the equipments. And a lot of this, we're just going to have to see how it works. But they're trying to make better, they're trying to make equipments that people don't use better. And essentially what everybody uses is Spear for the attack speed. Hunter's Jacket for the attack speed down on the opponent. And so they're trying to make everything else better. Master's Bow, which is the crit damage, instead of adding a static amount at a higher crit level, using a bow will now be more useful than a spear in terms of numbers, but the increased attack rate provided by the spear will allow damage to be distributed more evenly. I'm not even sure what that means. They're trying to compare it to spear, and I think we're just going to have to see in-game how much better that's going to be, but I'm pretty sure nobody has like leveled up a Master's Bow. I'm super excited for freaking Knight Sword. The faction bonus increasing damage against bosses and mini-bosses, so you can use this item with decks that struggle to deal enough damage against targets with a lot of health. Guess who has a giant, big, enchanted sword? I'm so happy. I'm so happy that this is now going to deal better damage to bosses, because that's literally the only thing that I've ever struggled with in this deck. Knight's Armor changes the total crit damage bonus of the player's collection rather than a static amount. Again, I have no idea what player's collection means. So I think we're just going to have to wait to see. But again, I don't know if anybody has maxed out like a legendary Knight Armor. And then Chainmail, the faction bonus modifies damage against bosses and mini bosses. I might stop running Hunter's Jacket, and I might run Chainmail and Night Sword. That seems really good. Actually, wait, no. Chainmail is... Oh, no, never mind. Armor, it affects your opponent and not yourself. It modifies damage against bosses and mini-bosses. So are they trying to say that, like, the opponent will now deal less damage to bosses and mini-bosses? I don't know if that's good enough. I think general attack speed down for all of your opponent's units is just better. There's a one-tap item upgrade. I don't think that was ever a problem. That's just a quality of life change. Better display of information. The new stat window now shows enchantments and their final bonuses for different factions. Again, that's just a quality of life change. That's fine. Blessing of the week. So there's going to be a new blessing. After killing a mini-boss or boss, a random faction unit will remove all negative effects from itself and temporarily increase its damage and attack speed. The lower the merge rank, the higher the increase will be. Killing mini-bosses provide this buff with a certain chance, but killing bosses guarantees it. So whenever this happens, your attacking unit has a chance to remove a negative effect. Now, I don't know if it only targets like the specific units that have negative effects, which in that case it would be okay at best, or if it just randomly chooses a faction unit of all of the faction units and just cures that one. And then, and then that thing gets higher attack speed. If it chooses things that have negative effects and cures that at a % chance, I think it's okay at best. Because you're only curing one thing. Like if 4 of your Blade Dancers get King Puddinged, right? And then, they get Dark Priested, right? And then you go into the next round and it cures 2 of them. It's okay, but it's and that's at a %, or no, like it's automatic. And it cures 2 of them. I guess that's fine. But if it checks anything, if like 2 of your other Blade Dancers don't even have bad effects, they're like, oh, those are cured and they have higher attack speed, that's not going to save you. So depending on how it works, it could be okay. But I don't, it's not as good as, like just an obvious, like every 180 seconds, every 60 seconds, a level gets a unit of that faction levels up, or 3 units level up. This isn't gonna like make or break that faction week. It'll be better, but it's not gonna like be the best thing, right? Bruiser. I never made an official video about Alchemist and Grindstone, but I will say this about Alchemist and Grindstone. The thing about Alchemist and Grindstone and them giving talents to units in general, if it doesn't change the meta, if it doesn't have a game-breaking mechanical change that at any level you can use and it's good, it's not good. Grindstone and Alchemist made themselves better, but they don't change the meta. Like nobody is just slotting in a Alchemist in their Inquisitor deck. Nobody's just replacing Grindstone because it's better now than Night Statue. Because it's not. It doesn't change the meta. They're all just static damage, and the damage is now better for each of the individual things. Like, oh, Grindstone now deals damage, and there's a talent where it deals more damage. And the last talent, it gives plus 7%. Maybe. And so it's more damage, but then that damage fades away as you go into triple boss territory. I said in a different video, I was like, if the final grindstone talent gave you a % chance to kill bosses, to insta kill bosses, maybe that would be good. Maybe that would be worth running. Guess what? Freaking Bruiser. With his last talent, the Bruiser will transform into the ringleader, capable of knocking out a boss with a single strike. As soon as I read that, I was like, they heard me. They actually heard me. I need to show you this if you haven't seen it already. But I trust you have, because if you're watching this, you definitely saw it. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Ugh. That's what it does. That is the ringleader. I don't know what are the... It's like the thing about like them telling you what the talents are. It doesn't tell you how to get a ringleader. So I don't know if it's gonna be like a flame orb situation where sometimes when you summon in bruisers, sometimes you'll get a ringleader. Or what would be amazing is if you always will have a ringleader, kind of like a robot, because it could work like robot, where the next thing that you summon in is a ringleader, right? You always have a ringleader. And so I don't know how this mechanic works. Or it could be like Cultist, where you have to do something and then you get a ringleader. So depending on that, when you get a ringleader at whatever level, when you merge it with another unit, it auto kills a boss. That's absolutely insane. I think people are overselling it, like it's just gonna be the best thing. But if you have a level 15 bruiser, you're going into triple boss territory. All of the other talents, by the way, I'm not even going to talk about them, but all the other talents are great. When fighting against bosses, the Bruiser now deals up to 550% base damage, which is nutty. What is the... I don't even know what the Bruiser is now. Damage increases 350. So when it fights against bosses, it deals 550% damage. That's going to be insane. That's really good. An extra 200% damage on Bruiser is crazy. I don't even want to talk about the other talents, because the other talents we'll see what they look like when they come out. But the idea of insta-killing bosses when you merge something, it's good, but I don't think that it's as good as you think it is. Because when you get to triple bosses, right, and you have the ability to kill most things, right, I don't know how good it's going to be, because it's all going to depend on how you get a ringleader. If it works like Robot, it's really good, because you could merge two level 1s, copy one with the Harley Quinn and get a ringleader, and then merge another one, merge it with the one, and then auto kill another boss. But see, even in me saying that, right? You can kill bosses. And usually the time when you don't kill a boss, like if you think you can kill a Bedlam, and then it Bedlams you, right? You think, oh, I'm gonna kill it, right? And then it Bedlams you. If the second that you realize that it's gonna Bedlam you, and you can't kill it, I don't think you're gonna have the reaction time to be able to merge two things and then have the animation go to it before it Bedlams you, if that makes sense. Because it's not instant. It happens like if it already goes into the animation where it's gonna Bedlam you, it'll Bedlam you and then you can kill it. But already bedlammed you, and then at which point you might be dead. I think that we're gonna have to look at it when it comes out and see how the mechanic works. And I'm definitely gonna make another video when they release Bruiser. But when I talk about having utility cards to change the meta, this is what I'm talking about. Having the ability to auto kill bosses is a really good support card. And it's really funny because, like, for all intents and purposes, they're making a Bruiser a really good attacking card. And it'll be a really good attacking card really early on in the game. And then late game, if you can just auto kill bosses, that's crazy. I mean, depending on how it works, that might be my new slot in my Blade Dancer, in Blooming Dash Blade Dancer. The ability to kill bosses at any level is nutty. Just saying, 100 million health, bye. 1 billion health, bye. Like, that's crazy. I mean, even just sitting on, like, 2 bruisers for the whole game, and you just merge around it, you just keep saving it with a Portal Keeper, right? And then just really late in the game, oh no, a 1 billion bedlam? Bye. I guess I win. That's crazy. I don't know. I love it. I think there's a reason. I think all the Bruiser lovers out there that have like really heavily invested into Bruiser. I haven't, obviously. I have a level 9 Bruiser because I have a level 9 everything that's important. So I'll be able to get the first talent. But yeah, I like all the changes that they decided to make for it. And I'm really excited to see what happens when it finally comes out. But whenever that video gets released, because somebody always has, inevitably, like before the patch drops, somebody always has gameplay and they show all the numerical stats for all of the talents, that like the in-game version of all of the talents. I'm gonna probably make a video then. But until then, I will see you guys later.